For decades, whispers and speculation have surrounded the undeniable on-screen chemistry between Bruce Lee and Nora Miao, following her like a persistent shadow. Fans have debated endlessly, analyzed every interaction, and even gone to extraordinary lengths to uncover hidden clues, hoping to determine whether the connection between these two icons extended beyond what was seen on film. Yet, through all the rumors and conjectures, Nora Miao remained silent, never fully confirming or denying the speculation. Until now. "I can finally speak about Bruce and me," she begins, her eyes distant as though revisiting memories long tucked away, pausing thoughtfully as if gathering her courage. What follows is a revelation that has astonished fans worldwide, challenging decades' assumptions about the legendary star. Questions that have lingered for years suddenly demand new answers. What truths remain buried behind the headlines? And what did the world fail to notice about the man behind the myth? To truly understand the story, one must start at the very beginning, their first encounter. Fate often works in mysterious ways. Some meetings feel orchestrated, meticulously arranged by circumstance, while others seem written in the stars, impossible to ignore or explain. For Bruce Lee and Nora Miao, their meeting was unmistakably destined. It was 1971, a pivotal year in Hong Kong cinema, and the young actress was already garnering attention for her talent, grace, and ability to hold her own in an industry largely dominated by men. Bruce Lee, a rising martial arts star returning from America with a revolutionary vision, arrived on the set of The Big Boss, igniting an instant electric chemistry with Miao. Neither of them could have predicted the lasting impact of this meeting, not only on their careers but on martial arts history itself. Their professional partnership would soon evolve into something far more complex, a connection that would intrigue and perplex fans for decades to come. From the very first moment, the energy between them was palpable. Crew members and onlookers could sense it, even if they couldn't put it into words. Their initial conversation, which happened casually during a break, revealed a shared passion for cinema and an alignment of vision for elevating Asian actors beyond stereotypical roles. That instant alignment of ideals marked the beginning of an extraordinary artistic partnership that would redefine the possibilities of martial arts films and cinematic storytelling. While the world saw only Bruce Lee, the confident, almost superhuman martial artist, the person Nora Miao came to know was far more nuanced. Behind the scenes, Bruce was a philosopher, a visionary, and someone wrestled with the pressures of fame and identity. Their connection was not just about films or choreography. It was about understanding, mutual respect, and shared aspirations that transcended the screen. This story is not merely about speculation, rumors, or the tabloid narratives that have circulated for decades. It is about a profound, enduring bond, the story of two artists navigating fame, culture, and personal growth together. In revealing her memories, Miao allows the world to glimpse a side of Bruce Lee that few ever knew, a man of extraordinary vision, deep philosophy, and human vulnerability, connected to her in ways that were far richer and more meaningful than public perception ever suggested. As we embark on this journey, we will uncover not just the moments they shared on film, but the private conversations, late-night rehearsals, and philosophical exchanges that shaped their relationship. This is the untold story of Bruce Lee and Nora Miao, a story of friendship, trust, and intellectual companionship, offering insight into the man behind the legend and the partnership that transcended the ordinary. The first meeting and early collaboration. In the world of cinema, some encounters are fleeting, merely professional exchanges that fade once the cameras stop rolling. Others, however, are imbued with a rare energy, an almost invisible force that signals something extraordinary. Such was the case when Bruce Lee and Nora Miao first crossed paths in 1971. At that time, Hong Kong cinema was in the midst of a transformative period. Martial arts films were gaining international attention, and Bruce Lee was emerging not just as a formidable martial artist, but as a visionary with the ambition to redefine how Asian actors were perceived on the global stage. Nora Miao, already a rising starlet in the Hong Kong film industry, had quickly garnered attention for her elegance, charisma, and ability to hold her own in a male-dominated environment. Her talent was undeniable. She possessed a magnetic presence that drew audiences and colleagues alike. It was on the set of The Big Boss that fate orchestrated their first encounter, a meeting that would become the foundation of an extraordinary professional and personal connection. From the moment they met, there was an unmistakable energy between them, an invisible thread that seemed to draw them together. Miao recalls, even decades later, the way Bruce moved on set, a presence that seemed almost electric, captivating everyone around him. Yet, beyond his physical skill and commanding presence, there was something deeper, an intensity of thought, a philosophical undercurrent that permeated his every gesture. He wasn't merely performing. He was living the principles of martial arts, blending technique with philosophy, precision with artistry. Their first conversation took place during a brief break in filming. Bruce approached Miao, not with casual small talk, but with a genuine curiosity about her craft and a shared vision for cinema. They spoke about their aspirations, about the limitations placed on Asian actors in film, and about the potential to elevate martial arts storytelling beyond mere spectacle. Miao was immediately struck by his depth of thought, his dedication, and his ability to see beyond the superficial. It was clear from that first discussion that Bruce Lee was more than just a martial artist. He was a thinker, a visionary, and, perhaps most importantly, a collaborator who sought partners capable of understanding and contributing to his revolutionary ideas. Their professional relationship blossomed quickly. The Big Boss marked the beginning of a collaboration that would extend across multiple films. While their on-screen chemistry was immediately evident, what truly distinguished their partnership was a foundation of mutual respect and intellectual connection. Directors and crew members could sense that something unique existed between them, though few could define it. It wasn't merely attraction, nor was it typical camaraderie. It was a shared commitment to craft, a synchrony in understanding both performance and purpose. As they worked together on subsequent projects, such as Fist of Fury and Way of the Dragon, the dynamics of their connection deepened. Every fight scene, every choreographed movement, became more than an act of performance. It was a form of conversation. They trusted one another implicitly, reading subtle cues, anticipating movements, and engaging in a level of coordination rarely seen between actors. This synergy was not just technical, but also deeply emotional and intellectual, a reflection of their shared dedication to the art of martial arts cinema. Away from the cameras, their collaboration continued. Miao frequently stayed after filming, observing Bruce practice his techniques in the quiet hours of the studio. These moments were not simply rehearsals. They were lessons in philosophy, discipline, and mastery. Bruce would meticulously break down every movement, explaining the flow of energy, the intricacies of combat strategy, and the underlying principles that guided his martial arts philosophy. Watching him work, Miao recalls, was almost hypnotic. Each motion carried not just physical precision, but the weight of intention, the embodiment of principles he held sacred. These late-night sessions revealed facets of Bruce Lee that few witnessed. He was relentless in pursuit of perfection, repeating movements hundreds of times, adjusting minuscule details until every action was refined. Yet beyond the physical rigor was a profound philosophical approach. Martial arts was not merely combat, but a path towards self-understanding and personal growth. This philosophy would later crystallize into Jeet Kune Do, a system that challenged conventions, embraced adaptability, and emphasized a fusion of technique and principle over rigid adherence to tradition. It was during these early days that the foundation of their bond was laid, not just as co-stars, but as confidants who shared ideas, dreams, and a commitment to challenging the status quo. Their connection was nuanced, subtle, and deeply rooted in shared intellectual and artistic pursuits. It was this combination of respect, admiration, and shared vision that fueled both their professional success and the fascination that would later surround their off-screen relationship. Through the lens of time, it becomes clear that their first meeting was more than coincidence. It was the beginning of a unique partnership, one defined by trust, mutual understanding, and an unspoken recognition that they were kindred spirits navigating a transformative period in cinema together. The intensity of their collaboration, both on and off-screen, set the stage for decades of speculation, admiration, and reverence among fans, ultimately solidifying their place in cinematic history. Bruce Lee's philosophy and the deepening connection. While the world celebrated Bruce Lee as a martial arts prodigy and cinematic superstar, few truly understood the man behind the legend. To many, he was an unstoppable force, a living embodiment of strength, skill, and charisma. But for Nora Miao, the Bruce Lee she came to know was far more layered, profoundly human, and intellectually compelling. Their connection extended well beyond choreography and scripts. It was rooted in shared philosophical curiosity, mutual respect, and a desire to challenge cultural and artistic boundaries together. After long days on set, Miao often stayed behind, observing Bruce transform empty sound stages into his private dojo. The fluorescent lights cast long, fluid shadows as he moved with almost supernatural grace, breaking down complex martial arts techniques into their fundamental elements. It was during these private sessions that Miao first glimpsed the depth of Bruce's discipline and dedication. He would explain not just mechanics of a punch or kick, but the philosophy underpinning each movement, emphasizing the flow of energy, what he referred to as qi, and the harmony of body and mind. Watching him work was mesmerizing. Every gesture, every pivot of the body carried intention. He approached martial arts as both a physical and spiritual journey, viewing each session as a step towards self-discovery. Miao recalls being drawn into his world of possibilities, where technique intertwined with introspection and strength merged seamlessly with wisdom. The intensity of his focus was both inspiring and humbling. Bruce repeated movements hundreds of times, making adjustments so subtle that only someone attuned to his rhythm could notice. The legendary one-inch punch, which would later become synonymous with his name, was honed during these painstakingly meticulous sessions, reflecting not just physical power but profound understanding of energy, timing, and body mechanics. Yet, Bruce Lee was more than a martial artist. Away from the camera, he was a philosopher, a thinker, and a man wrestling with the pressures of fame, cultural expectations, and personal identity. He and Miao shared countless late-night conversations that revealed dimensions of his character invisible to the public eye. They discussed life, ambition, and the challenges of navigating a career in an industry that often marginalized Asian talent. Bruce confided in Miao, sharing his frustrations about Hollywood stereotypes, the limitations imposed on martial arts cinema, and the burden of constantly being scrutinized by fans, critics, and the media. In these private moments, Miao discovered the paradox of Bruce Lee. On screen, he exuded confidence, discipline, and sometimes even arrogance. Off-screen, he was thoughtful, introspective, and deeply aware of his vulnerabilities. He could be fiercely competitive yet endlessly playful, deeply philosophical yet quick-witted and charming. It was this duality that drew Miao closer, forming a bond that transcended the superficial trappings of celebrity. They were no longer simply co-stars. They were confidants navigating a complex, rapidly evolving world together. Their relationship was subtle yet intense, built on mutual trust and shared understanding. Bruce's respect for Miao extended beyond her performance abilities. He admired her intellect, her intuition, and her capacity to engage with him on a deeper, more meaningful level. In return, Miao saw Bruce in ways few others did, as a visionary, a philosopher, and a friend. Their interactions were never about gossip, publicity, or spectacle. They were about exploring ideas, challenging conventions, and understanding one another as human beings striving to fulfill their potential. Even in silence, their connection was palpable. Crew members often noticed the subtle energy between them, the unspoken communication conveyed through a glance, a pause, or a shared understanding during choreography. Fans speculated endlessly about the nature of their relationship, interpreting their closeness in the public eye as romantic intrigue. Yet, Miao reveals that these assumptions missed the true essence of what they shared. Their bond was rooted in intellectual and spiritual companionship, a shared commitment to advancing their craft and transforming the cultural narrative around Asian actors and martial arts cinema. In these formative years, Bruce Lee's mentorship and collaboration shaped not only the films they made, but also Miao's own artistic and personal development. Through observation and dialogue, she absorbed lessons in precision, discipline, and philosophical insight. Their rehearsals and private training sessions became a laboratory of experimentation, where physical technique met theoretical exploration and performance merged with contemplation. The artistry they created together was not just on screen. It extended into every gesture, every movement, and every discussion about how cinema could transcend stereotypes and challenge cultural expectations. Their intellectual exchanges often touched upon profound subjects, including identity, cultural representation, and the intersection of tradition and innovation. Bruce spoke of martial arts not merely as combat, but as a medium to cultivate awareness, self-mastery, and philosophical understanding. Miao engaged with these ideas, offering her own perspectives and interpretations, fostering a rare and dynamic dialogue that was as much about personal growth as it was about artistry. Through these shared experiences, a bond was forged that was both enduring and transformative. Bruce and Miao were kindred spirits, united by a mutual dedication to excellence, an understanding of one another's inner world, and commitment to challenging the limitations imposed by society and industry. It was this connection, nuanced and profound, that would continue to influence Miao's perspective on Bruce Lee long after his untimely passing. What emerges from their early interactions is a picture of a relationship defined not by scandal or gossip, but by trust, mentorship, intellectual partnership, and emotional resonance. Bruce Lee's private moments with Miao reveal a side of him that was deeply human, a man navigating fame, cultural barriers, and personal philosophy, and doing so in the company of someone who truly understood him. In examining these intimate details, one realizes that their connection was revolutionary not because it conformed to traditional narratives of romance, but because it embodied a higher level of companionship, collaboration, and mutual respect. Trials, tragedy, and personal impact behind the glamour and electrifying on-screen presence. Both Bruce Lee and Nora Miao faced enormous pressures that few could truly understand. Hong Kong cinema in the early 1970s was a world of opportunity, but also a world of immense competition, cultural expectations, and the constant scrutiny of fans, media, and industry insiders. For Bruce Lee, every project carried the weight of ambition and responsibility. He was not just an actor or martial artist. He was a cultural revolutionary, determined to elevate Asian representation in cinema and redefine the art of martial arts on a global scale. This relentless drive came with its own set of burdens, both physical and emotional. Bruce's work ethic was legendary. Long hours on set, grueling training sessions, and an unyielding pursuit of perfection were all hallmarks of his approach. Yet beneath this intensity lay vulnerability, a side of him that few witnessed. Nora Miao was one of the rare people who did. While the cameras captured Bruce as a disciplined and confident figure, Miao saw the depth of his humanity, his insecurities, his self-reflection, and the personal struggles that accompanied his unprecedented success. She observed the paradox of a man celebrated for invincibility while wrestling privately with doubt and perfectionism. Their relationship, which had grown through shared intellectual discussions and rigorous martial arts collaboration, also became a source of emotional support. In their private moments, they were not merely co-stars. They were confidants navigating fame, creative ambition, and cultural barriers together. Bruce confided in Miao about the frustrations of being typecast in Hollywood, the limitations placed on Asian actors, and the constant pressure to prove his worth on and off the screen. Miao, in turn, provided a listening ear, understanding his vision, and offering thoughtful reflection that few could provide. Their bond was as much a mental and emotional partnership as it was professional. However, the intense demands of Bruce's career and his unrelenting dedication to martial arts often pushed the boundaries of physical endurance. He trained tirelessly, frequently late into the night, leaving little time for rest or personal life. This relentless pursuit, while producing extraordinary results, carried significant risks. Miao recalls moments when Bruce appeared exhausted, yet his determination never waned. His ambition was both his greatest strength and his most dangerous vulnerability, a duality that foreshadowed the tragedy that would eventually unfold. The ultimate heartbreak came on July 20th, 1973, when Bruce Lee passed away unexpectedly at the age of 32. The official cause was reported as cerebral edema, though speculation and controversy have lingered for decades. Miao's account of his final days adds an intimate dimension to the widely publicized tragedy. In the weeks leading up to his death, she recalls a noticeable shift in Bruce's demeanor, a sense of urgency and intensity in their conversations that was unlike anything she had experienced before. They had planned to meet, to continue discussions about upcoming projects and revolutionary ideas from martial arts cinema, but fate intervened. For Miao, Bruce's death was profoundly personal, beyond the public loss of a cinematic icon. She lost a friend, mentor, and intellectual companion which shaped not only her career, but also her worldview. The grief she experienced was compounded by the unanswered questions and unfinished conversations they had shared. Projects that had been envisioned together, dreams of transforming martial arts cinema, and discussions about cultural representation all vanished abruptly. In her own words, she was left with a mixture of sorrow, bewilderment, and a profound sense of responsibility to preserve the truth about Bruce Lee beyond the sensationalized narratives perpetuated by the media. In the aftermath of his passing, Miao faced the dual challenges of personal grief and public scrutiny. The world was quick to speculate about the nature of their relationship, constructing stories of romance, intrigue, or professional rivalry. Yet Miao remained silent, understanding that the truth of their bond, complex, intellectual, and deeply human, could not be reduced to tabloid sensationalism. She retreated from the public eye, prioritizing introspection, study, and the internalization of Bruce's teachings over media attention. During this period of mourning, martial arts became more than a profession for Miao. It became a spiritual practice, a way to process grief and honor Bruce's memory. She immersed herself in the philosophical underpinnings of martial arts, exploring the principles Bruce had shared with her during their private training sessions. This period of self-reflection and study was both a coping mechanism and a continuation of the intellectual journey they had begun together. Through martial arts, she maintained a connection to Bruce, finding solace and inspiration in the discipline, philosophy, and artistry they had shared. The impact of Bruce's death on Miao's career was equally profound. While she had been poised for further stardom in Hong Kong cinema, she chose to step back, allowing herself time to grieve, reflect, and absorb the lessons of their collaboration. Her silence was not indifference, but a deliberate act of preservation, preserving the memory of their friendship, the philosophical discussions they had shared, and the revolutionary vision Bruce had carried. Over time, this period of introspection would shape Miao into not only a more accomplished artist, but also a custodian of Bruce Lee's legacy, one who could speak with insight and authenticity about the man behind the icon. Even decades later, the emotional weight of Bruce's passing continued to resonate. Miao's reflections remind us that behind every public figure is a private human story, often far more complex and nuanced than the myths constructed by fans, media, or industry narratives. Bruce Lee's death was not just a loss of a global icon. It was the end of an unfinished journey, a rupture in a partnership that had been as intellectual and philosophical as it was artistic. Miao's account provided a rare, deeply personal perspective on this loss, revealing the emotional depth, vulnerability, and humanity of a man too often reduced to legend. Through her memories, it becomes clear that the connection between Bruce Lee and Nora Miao was not superficial or performative. It was forged in shared ideals, late-night discussions, rigorous training, and mutual understanding. A bond tested by ambition, pressure, and ultimately, tragedy. The world saw Bruce Lee as a legend, an unstoppable force. Miao saw him as a friend, a teacher, and a visionary whose absence left an enduring void. Silence, healing, and the journey to truth. In the years following Bruce Lee's untimely death, Nora Miao faced a complex web of grief, reflection, and the persistent curiosity of the world. For decades, the rumors about her connection with Bruce swirled relentlessly. Fans speculated, journalists probed, and the media constructed elaborate stories of romance, rivalry, or secret alliances. Yet Miao remained silent, choosing introspection over sensationalism, understanding that the truth of their relationship could not be reduced to gossip or simplified narratives. Her silence was not a sign of avoidance, but an act of reverence. She knew that what she had shared with Bruce transcended conventional labels. Their bond was intellectual, emotional, and spiritual, a connection built on mutual respect, philosophical dialogue, and shared revolutionary ambition for martial arts and cultural representation. To reduce it to a scandalous tale would be to diminish its depth. Miao carried this weight silently, allowing herself time to process the enormity of the loss while protecting the integrity of what they had experienced together. During this period, Miao embarked on a profound personal journey of healing. The intensity of Bruce's absence left a void that extended beyond companionship. It disrupted a shared vision, a partnership in creativity and thought that had been foundational to her understanding of the world. Martial arts, which had once been a shared practice of discipline and exploration, became for her a meditative, almost sacred practice. Each movement, each kata, was imbued with reflection, a way to honor Bruce's teachings and continue learning from the wisdom he had imparted. Beyond physical practice, Miao immersed herself in philosophical study, expanding on the ideas that had been central to her conversations with Bruce. She explored Eastern and Western philosophies, meditation, and the principles of self-mastery that Bruce had emphasized. This period of intellectual deepening allowed her to integrate the lessons of their friendship into her own life, transforming grief into growth and loss into understanding. She discovered that the philosophical and martial arts teachings Bruce had shared were not merely techniques or performance tools. They were frameworks for living, tools for resilience, self-awareness, and personal evolution. Despite the silence she maintained publicly, Miao never completely retreated from the world. She observed, reflected, and learned, understanding that the media's narrative would never capture the nuances of her relationship with Bruce. Over time, this careful introspection solidified her understanding of their connection. She realized that the fascination surrounding them was not driven solely by curiosity about potential romance, but by the magnetic intensity of the bond they shared, a connection that was rare, profound, and unconventional. Bruce Lee was more than a legend, and Nora Miao's revelations remind us that behind every icon is a human story filled with depth, complexity, and heart. Their connection wasn't about scandal or gossip. It was a bond of trust, intellectual partnership, and shared vision that changed the way we see martial arts, cinema, and cultural representation. Thank you for watching and exploring this story with us. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a deep dive into the untold stories behind cinema's greatest legends. See you in the next video.